A longer shelf life, mold resistance, and quicker rising times. Traditional sandwich bread may be the better buy over real bread depending on what matters to you. Here's the difference. First things first, sandwich bread and real bread are made differently. Although wheat is present in both, their jobs differ and so does their culinary makeup. Let's look at the nutrition label on a package of a popular sandwich bread brand known as Arnold. Arnold's country-style white contains ingredients like enriched wheat flour, water, sugar, whey, yeast, butter, sea salt, cultured wheat flour, vegetable oil, soy lecithin, grain vinegar, citric acid, and wheat gluten according to arnoldbread.com. If we compare that to an artisanal loaf of bread from a bakery, similar ingredients like flour, yeast, salt, water, and seasonings are used, according to Fast Easy Bread. Don't be fooled though. Grocery store loaves that may appear artisanal could also be mass-produced. In that case, additives and dough conditioners are added since they have a faster turnaround. Breads like baguette, ciabatta, and sourdough make up this category. Dough that's mass-produced needs to be compatible with a bread factory's machinery. On the other hand, ingredients like seeds or nuts that may be added to handmade artisanal breads aren't suitable for the milling process, according to Great Food Club. Let's face it, shelf life is important, and you may purchase sandwich bread from a grocery store for its long shelf life. It can be annoying when the clock is ticking on your real bread and you've barely put it to use. Unless you're someone who plans on repurposing that bread for a delicious, mouth-watering traditional bread pudding, you won't be left with other options that don't require you to soak it to save it. There is a reason sandwich bread lasts longer than real bread, and that's because it is produced with shelf life in mind.
But could we please get a little bread?
A key ingredient found in most commercial sandwich bread is ascorbic acid. According to Chain Baker, ascorbic acid, also simply known as vitamin C, is not only a collagen-building supplement for the human body, but it can also enhance the shelf life of sandwich bread. This ingredient makes this carbohydrate pack a tighter crumb than its real counterpart does, and also contributes to its finer texture. Using ascorbic acid is cost-effective for companies who mass-produce breads because it amplifies the dough's volume. Making more while having each loaf last longer is lucrative for the commercial sandwich bread industry. If you've wondered why the bread gods are seemingly never on your side when storing bread to keep it fresh, here's some humbling news. Real bread just isn't made to last. While it's possible to store it accordingly based on what ingredients your bread is composed of, it won't maintain the quality that sandwich bread can effortlessly maintain for weeks on end. According to the USDA, commercially baked rolls and breads can be placed at room temperature for up to 4 days. They may last up to 14 days if they are refrigerated, and if they contain meat or eggs, they're best kept in the fridge within 2 hours of purchase. While it's possible to freeze bread for months, it doesn't have quite the same effect on your carbohydrate-craving taste buds as fresh bread baked that morning. Refrigeration can also have a reverse effect and make bread go stale. Real bread is also prone to molding depending on climate, according to Masterclass. Humidity is a cause of bacteria buildup. If your bread is 3 to 4 days old, it will be much drier in texture. Though sourdough bread boasts a longer shelf life than other types, this is thanks to the presence of lactic acid bacteria. In turn, however, it can also develop mold more quickly due to its acidity. On the outside, bread that has gone stale might appear as overly dry and now inedible, but there is much more going on in your bread when it's finally turned to stone, all the way down to a granular level. This process is known as retrogradation. When bread is placed in a cold environment like a fridge, its starches try to go back to their crystal form, according to the Los Angeles Times. When preparing a bread dough, wheat flour is used, which is made up of starch granules packed together. These granules separate when the wheat flour is blended with water. However, after bread has been baked, its natural inclination is to go back to its original form by recrystallizing its starch granules. Cold temperatures make this process happen quicker, which is why refrigerating bread can make it go stale. Toasting bread is a temporary fix to recrystallize starches, as the heat allows them to go back to a looser form. Sandwich bread and real bread, you can imagine, do not exactly have identical preparation methods. One vital step taken before the bread hits the oven is kneading. Because of the volume at which sandwich bread is produced, kneading becomes a mechanical process, whereas real bread can be kneaded by hand in smaller batches.
I love bread.
When it comes to sandwich bread, there are more than a couple of things bread factories have to keep their eyes on while the dough kneads. According to a video by Bakerpedia, mixing time, maintaining an appropriate dough temperature, and energy input all need equal attention. An industrial bread mixer's speed and arm design also come into play. Vertical, spiral, planetary, and other settings are used when making dough at such high volume, though that's also dependent on the weight of the dough produced at a time. For real bread, kneading by hand can be tricky. Over-kneading can lead to too tough of a texture, and not enough kneading causes a lack of air bubbles essential for proper proofing per Safe Food Factory. As dough for artisanal bread is often higher in hydration, a dough sticky to the touch can create a mess, according to King Arthur Baking. Although stand mixers exist, kneaded dough still needs attention. Commercial sandwich bread, in all of its sliced wonderfulness, came about a little less than 100 years ago, when Otto Rohwedder thought of the idea. From Iowa, Rohwedder thought it would be convenient for sandwich bread to come sliced when purchased, according to Mental Floss. He built a bread slicing machine, which could only handle one loaf at a time. Most commercial bakers were not excited about the idea, concerned that the bread would go stale if it were pre-sliced. To remedy this, Rohwedder applied pins to hold the slices of bread uniformly, but as this created difficulty in handling, he decided on another method, wrapping each slide in waxing paper individually to keep them from going hard. By 1930, the idea of sliced bread, though rejected a few more times by commercial bakers, caught on like wildfire. Wonder Bread became popular due to Rohwedder's genius. Sliced bread was later banned in 1943 as products like wax paper needed to be used moderately, and weaponry production was prioritized over sliced bread. Soon after, due to public outcry, it was brought back. If there is one thing about bread, it's that you can't rush the rising process. However, you can cut time to make it more efficient. Due to the high volume at which sandwich bread is produced, its rising process has to be faster than a fresh loaf you would get at a lower volume bakery. So how is this achieved in a sandwich bread making facility? There may still be more than one stage of proofing in a bread factory, and the first proof is to activate the yeast. Contrary to real bread, this bread is proofed for less time. According to a video by the Bakers Federation, this first stage can take a little under 10 minutes. Later, the bread is rolled on a conveyor belt so that air bubbles are pushed out of the dough. Then it's rolled into the desired shape before reaching its final proofing station, typically in a tin. A warmer setting is essential for the bread to proof properly, which happens in around 50 minutes. As for real bread, proofing at a cool temperature can yield the best results, we learn from Cooks Illustrated. Though proofing a dough in the fridge can create a beautiful end result with a chewy texture, this can take up to 24 hours. It is very true that both good commercial sandwich bread and real bread provide some fluffiness. Though how is this achieved when they undergo different preparation methods? Well, it's all in the ingredients. Sandwich bread has a few companions helping its fluff factor. According to Foodly, fats are notable in adding softness to breads, and in most sandwich bread brands, you'll find vegetable oil. Such an ingredient helps gluten tenderize and lubricate, rendering it soft and giving it moisture. Browning temperature is also lowered, keeping the softness of the bread while making sure the crust doesn't get brittle. Enzymes in this type of bread are added in by manufacturers, and this makes dough hang on to gas, in turn creating a lightweight slice. With real bread, the process can be similar, adding a fat like butter to make it softer, though ingredients like enzymes and emulsifiers may not be added. Commercial bread companies might add those to help keep the dough's oil and water from separating. Sandwich bread is pretty predictable. Let us explain. When you're at your favorite grocery store and looking forward to purchasing a specific commercial sandwich bread brand you have tried before, it's going to taste identical to the way it did when you first bought it.
So tonight, you get no bread.
True artisanal breads are made by hand in small batches. Time is on the baker's side, and each loaf is unique. When dough is allowed all the time it needs to fully ferment, flavor inevitably has more time to develop too, we learn from Fast Easy Bread. This is why there is an array of artisan bread types, as fermentation length creates different flavors, textures, and savory notes as time goes by. Though commercial sandwich bread might not taste bad, it ultimately doesn't carry much flavor on its own. Sugar, milk, eggs, and butter may also be found in artisan breads, providing them with a richness not found in store-bought sandwich bread, according to Medina Baking. You are in your local grocery store's bakery aisle and the scent of freshly baked bread is giving your wallet a run for its money. You are confident that this bread quite literally hopped out of the oven just seconds ago.
I smell bread.
Turns out the loaf now sitting in your shopping cart was most likely frozen at some point, according to Kitchen Roar. But never fret, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Due to grocery stores refrigerating breads right after they come out of the oven, the bread is able to retain its quality without over-drying. Wrapping the goods with clear plastic wrap and storing them on shelves also discourages bacteria from entering them, which is essential to stores that sell bread all day, and their goal of avoiding food waste. Past Costco employees who have worked in their bakery section explain via Reddit which of their items come frozen and which don't. Bagels, artisan buns, and baguettes come frozen and are later baked on-site, while multigrain bread, country French bread, and a couple more flavored breads are made from scratch. Though you may have not noticed, real bread isn't stored the same way as sandwich bread at the grocery store. Commercial sandwich bread usually comes in a clear plastic bag, while real bread lies in a thin brown paper bag that gives a crunchy sound at your touch. The packaging may include some plastic, but in brown paper bags the bread typically protrudes a bit. So why is this? Since fresh bread is best eaten within a few days of baking, it's placed in brown paper bags to allow more airflow, according to Mental Floss. This airflow would not happen if it were condemned to a plastic bag, as air is trapped and moisture is kept in place. However, this does contribute to sandwich bread's overall fluffy texture. Sometimes, paper bags are dotted with tiny holes to encourage more airflow, giving fresh bread a nice crust without drying it out. Another reason why sandwich bread lasts so long is due to its storage in a plastic bag, which also prevents mold from building up.